it's Mo. It is almost Shorty September, or maybe it's Shorty September when you're watching this. I'm not sure exactly when it will go up. What I am sure of is that I love short books. If you can't say it in under 350 pages, why are you even saying it, in my opinion? So a lot of the books that I have are short books. I love to read short books. I think there's something so great about getting your point across, getting the character development in, getting the setting in a short amount of time. They're super fun to read. They're super fun to think about. And in other years, I have made a video like this where I talk about all the short books on my TBR. In other years, my TBR was much smaller than it is now. My TBR is a little out of control at the moment. I had definitely planned to acquire less books in 2023, and I have acquired more books in 2023. So I decided that I wanted to do this Shorty September video, a video of all my short books, but I'm going to need to do it in several parts because I have so many books that just going through my shelves and getting the short books off the shelves has taken a long time. So I'm going to do it in categories. I'm going to start with contemporary, and that's what we're going to do today. Before we get started, if you don't know what Shorty September is, this is a readathon for the month of September where we read short books. This readathon was created by Sean and Bert at Past Storytime, so definitely head over their channel and check out all their Shorty September content. I will have their channels listed down below. Shorty September is all about reading short books, but short books can be whatever you think a short book is. Now, personally, I think of novellas as being 175 pages and under, and short books being from 176-ish pages to 250-ish pages. So a short book to me is under 250 pages. I could include novellas in this video, but since it is also coming up to Novella November, I will not be including the novellas. So we're only going to be talking about books that are 176-ish pages to 250 pages, which is the majority of books. Well, not the majority. I don't know. It's looking like it's the majority of books on my shelves. As I show you these books, I'm not going to talk about them very much. I'm just going to show you the books and tell you the titles. And if you have any questions about any of the books, definitely feel free to leave those in the comments below. We're also not going to include short stories in this video, although those are shorter works. They're mostly going to fall into that novella or short story category. The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. Jersey Luck by Tom DeHaven. Double Blind by Edward St. Auburn. Gilead by Marion Robinson. If You Kept a Record of Sin by Andrea Bahani, translated by Edmund White. The Blind Countess's New Machine by Carrie Wallace. Weather by Jenny Offal. The Foundation Pit by Andrei Platonov, translated by Robert and Elizabeth Chandler and Olga Mearson. Tenants of Moonbloom Hall by Edward Lewis Wallant. Autobiography of a Corpse by Sigrid Chiskanskowski, translated by Adam Thirlwell. French Braid by Ann Tyler. Thank You Jeeves by P.G. Woodhouse. Our Man in Havana by Graham Greene. Sights Unseen by Kay Gibbons. A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. The Third Hotel by Laura Vanderberg. Memento Mori by Muriel Spark. The Power and the Glory by Graham Greene. Jeeves and the Feudal Spirit by P.G. Woodhouse. Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Good Morning Midnight by Jean Rhys. Voyage in the Dark by Jean Rhys. Village School by Miss Reed. In the Night Cafe by Joyce Johnson. Beneath the Wheel by Herman Hesse, translated by Michael Roloff. Russ Halday by Herman Hesse, translated by Ralph Manheim. Kilgore's Last Summer by Herman Hesse, translated by Richard and Clara Winston. Montauk by Max Frisch, translated by Jeffrey Skelton. Elsewhere by Alexis Schkeiten. Piranesi's Dream by Gerhard Kopf, translated by Leslie Wilson. The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson. England Made Me by Graham Greene. Very Good Jeeves by P.G. Woodhouse. In Dubious Battle by John Steinbeck. One Day in the Life of Ivan Denovich by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, translated by Max Hayward and Ronald Higley. The Last Picture Show by Larry McMurtry. The Sea by John Banville. The Vanishing Acts of Esme Lennox by Maggie O'Farrell. The Hottest State by Ethan Hawke. The Pleasing Hour by Lily King, Harlan's Half Acre by David Maloff, Dancer from the Dance by Andrew Hollerman, What Belongs to You by Garth Greenwell, Tin Man by Sarah Winman, Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austin, Strega by Joanne Like Home, translated by Saskia Vogel, The Oxbow Incident by Walter Van Tilburg Clark, Dinosaurs by Lydia Millett, Signal Fires by Danny Shapiro, Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. And that does it for our contemporary pile. I will be back with sci-fi. I'm back, and I have one more book from that last section, which was like literary fiction, general fiction, and that is Election by Tom Perrotta. Now we are on to sci-fi. So Shorty September is a little bit unique because you can read any kind of short books. So plays, poetry, nonfiction, fiction, it doesn't matter. Whereas like Novella November is only novellas, so only short novels. But for the purpose of this video, I have not included plays and poetry, but my next section that I have counted and am now going through is sci-fi, but there was a nonfiction in sci-fi, and that is the anthology At the End of the Universe, Leading Science Fiction Authors on Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So this is a variety of essays on H2G2. The Day of Their Return by Paul Anderson, Ecotopia by Ernest Kalabach, The Food of the Gods by H.G. Wells, Castle Perilous by Don DeChancy, Out of the Deeps by John Wyndham, Tales of 10 Worlds by Arthur C. Clarke, The Secret People by John Wyndham, Solar Lottery by Philip K. Dick, Better Than Life, a Red Dwarf novel by Grant Naylor, Isaac Asimov's Robot City, Books 6 by William F. Wu, Cat House by Dean Ing, Nine Tomorrows by Isaac Asimov, Universal Harvester by John Darnell, Oh Caledonia by Elspeth Barker, Dusk or Dark or Dawn or Day by Shannon McGuire, This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amel Almotar and Max Gladstone, Miss Corpus by Clay McLeod Chapman, Solaris by Stanislaw Lem, In the House in the Dark of the Woods by Laird Hunt. Moving on to nonfiction by authors of color. So I do have my bookshelves divided by people of color, indigenous people, Asian authors, and not, so that I can very easily make sure that I am reading more than just white authors. My nonfiction section: The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois, Blues People by Leroy Jones, The Life of Olade Ekwano, which is an autobiography, Ace by Angela Chen, Come Hell or High Water by Michael Eric Dyson, Oh My Mother by Connie Wang, Wave by Sonali Duraniagala, Running in the Family by Michael Ondaatje, Hobbstown, The Forgotten Legacy of a Unique African American Community by Cindy Williams Newsom, A Human Died That Night by Pumla Gobodo Madaganzela. And then we are on to fiction by people of color: Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, The Legacy of Lost Things by Ida Z. Lelian, Susiant by David Chariandi, Nairobi Heat by Makoma Wanyugi, Split Tooth by Tanya Tagak, Stories from the Tenants Downstairs by Siddiq Fofana, Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson, Jazz by Toni Morrison, Bailey's Cafe by Gloria Naylor, and After Many Days by Johar Ile, The Sorrow of War, a novel of North Korea by Bao Ni, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, The Mystic Mercure by V.S. Nepal, The Samurai's Garden by Gail Tsukinyama, The Color Purple by Alice Walker, The Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Raffi, By the Light of My Father's Smile by Alice Walker, Love by Toni Morrison, Now is the Time to Open Your Heart by Alice Walker, How to Live Safely in a Sci-Fi Universe by Charles Yu, Quicksand by Junichiro Tanazaki, Meridian by Alice Walker, Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin, No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai, The Spirit of Science Fiction by Roberto Bolaño, House Made of Dawn by M. Scott Momaday, A Mercy by Toni Morrison, Mountain Wind Song, a novel of the Trail of Tears by Robert J. Conley. Okay, we're reaching the end. The categories are getting all mixed up, but I basically have a nonfiction, mystery, and translation with a few other things mixed in. Castle by J. Robert Lennon, The Oxford Murders by Guillermo Martinez, The Daughters of Time by Josephine Tey, The Chocolate Cat Caper by Joanna Carl, The Peacock Feather Murders by Carter Dixon, The Woman in the Library by Sunari Gentile, The Case of the Gilded Fly by Edmund Crispin, The Shape of Water by Andrea Camilleri, The Information Officer by Mark Mills, Catwalk by Karen Kajewski, The Bat by Mary Roberts Reinhardt, The Maltese Falcon and the Thin Man by Dashiell Hammett, The Last Bus to Woodstock by Colin Dexter, The Buck Passes Flynn by Gregory MacDonald, Minotaur by Benjamin Tammuz, The Circular Staircase by Mary Roberts Reinhardt, Crossed Skis, an Alpine Mystery by Carol Karnick, Dread Journey by Dorothy B. Hughes, The Draycott Murder Mystery by Molly Tyne, The Red House Mystery by A. A. Milne, A Puzzle for Fools by Patrick Quinton, When the Cat's Away by Kiki Friedman, The Batman Murders by Craig Shaw Gardner, In the Palm of Darkness by Matra Montero, NP by Banana Yoshimoto, Three Ways of Asian Wisdom, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Zen and Their Significance in the West by Nancy Wilson Ross, Do Cats Need Shrinks? Cat Behavior Explained by Peter Neville, Apple of My Eye, A Personal Tour of New York by Helene Hanff, 4th of July, Asbury Park by Daniel Wolfe, Faces of Environmental Racism, edited by Laura Westra and Peter S. Wentz, The Book of Drugs by Mike Doty, Bear, The Life and Times of Augustus Owsley Stanley III by Robert Greenfield, The Bermuda Triangle by Charles Berlitz, The Road to Karain by Jill Kerr Conway, A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway, The Boat That Wouldn't Float by Fairleigh Mowat, Miss Savage Moves Her House by Christine Adams with Michael McMahon, A Cat Abroad by Peter Gellers, The Warrior Woman by Maxine Hong Kingston, The Cat Who Went to Paris by Peter Gellers, The Gardner Heist by Ulrich Boser, The Velvet Rage by Alan Dones, Ph.D., The Jaws Log by Carl Gottlieb, J.K. Chesterton, An Apostle of Common Sense by Dale Alquist, Speak Memory by Vladimir Nabokov, Raccoons Are the Brightest People by Sterling North, The New Religions by Jacob Needleman, The World of Mary Cassatt by Robin McNone, and finally, The Outermost House, A Year of Life on the Great Beach of Cape Cod by Henry Beston. So those are all my Shorty books. Those are all the books that I have that are between 176 and 250 pages. That is quite a lot of books. I don't know exactly how many books it is. I didn't count them. I'm counting all my books for another reason, but I'm counting all my books, so I don't think I could parse out which ones were just my shortest books. If you need any suggestions for Shorty September, those are all books on my TBR. Those are all short books that I'm looking forward to reading. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned here. Let me know if I should prioritize any of them. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!